All right, so I'm gonna talk about my experience playing in Rifts. I've only had the chance to play one game in Rifts, and from that one game, I absolutely love the system. I mean, it it strikes me as a system that just wants to suck you in. I mean, there's so much going on, and as far as character classes and stuff that you can play, that the game is just it's just amazing. Um, but me playing in the game of Rifts and everything, and playing in this campaign brought along another problem, and that problem, um, I saw this in GMs and everything, and stuff like this just, I don't know. I don't think it should happen. Other people are going to disagree with me, but hey, such is life. So here's the deal. So I'm playing in this Rifts, and my friend's playing a Glitter Boy. And if you guys know what Glitter Boys are these I want to say they're like 12 foot tall, but they're basically guys in these giant freaking mech armored suits and everything that shoot pylons down into the ground before they fire their freaking boom gun that does a F-ton worth of damage. And they're baller. They're baller. And we had a juicer, someone that's so racked down on freaking drugs that they're like super fast and all this other stuff, and they only live for like 7 years before they basically their body can't take the drug use anymore, and they end up dying. And we had a couple other things that I don't recall, but the GM wanted to make me into a dragon. Apparently, dragons are these mythical creatures, and you're not allowed to freaking you're not supposed to be them, and all this organizations are trying to kill them and everything. So he wanted me to secretly be this thing, and so I'm supposed to keep this to myself. I'm supposed to keep it on the hush hush. And the very first game session, homeboy targets me out with a blast that is guaranteed to kill any human being on the face of the earth, or the face of whatever planet system that they use there, and goes into great detail so that if anybody in the party was confused, they won't be now, that how my guy somehow magically survived this massive blast that was able to destroy all my clothes and destroy all my gear and, render everything else useless. So it took roughly 5 minutes later for everybody to put together that I was a dragon. Which then he was upset because the group found out. The real problem with this was the lack of balance and me playing a dragon. Because the dragon had like, I don't know, like 500 hit points, or the potency of like 500 hit points, and the Glitter Boy had like 600. Now the Glitter Boy lacked the ability to fix himself like the dragon naturally just heals, like a player heals after going to a campfire and frickin' getting 8 hours sleep. So I may have had 20% less hit points, but the fact is that the for in a lot of ways I was overpowered for the game, and it just wasn't fair to the rest of the group, that I was there, because then it really downplayed their character. So if you make a Glitter Boy and you're basically a tank, and then we go ahead and put someone else in there, and that guy's a better tank than you, it really takes your guy and makes your guy look like crap. And And somehow, I always get sucked into this crap. Every time I ever play a game, and well, not every time, but frequent enough that it's really annoying, is that somebody wants to make me play some massively notable person that is overpowered, and this is me, but I don't like playing. I like playing even characters. You know, I like being able to show that my skill as a player with my character allows me to overcome adversity, not because basically I was given a handicap that allowed me to overshoot what the other players were capable of doing. And not only that, I don't like it's just it's annoying. I mean, I got this in my game here and everything. I wanted to make a long rifle for my guy, and so it would have been the equivalency of a long bow. So I'm not really cheating. For all intents and purposes, it acts exactly like a long bow, except for I wanted the character flavor to look like a true swashbuckler type character. You know, it's just, I wanted the character to look a certain way, and to really get into the persona of the character and everything, and I don't need extra damage to do it. My character's a rogue, and I can make a pretty intelligent character that's capable of kicking out DPS. And I've been playing systems for so long that I can always make something more powerful, but it doesn't take much for me to make something that's effective in combat. I mean, I always go with the basics. I make sure that my character can handle a wide variety of situations, and whether it be melee combat, whether it be long range combat, And I see a lot of players that do this, and they'll make a character, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, my character is great at melee combat, and he can't do a damn thing else." And I don't know why people don't actually think in these terms. I mean, I guess new players I would understand, but if you've got some time under your belt and everything, you're gonna want to make sure your character is capable of doing more than just the natural stuff. Like one of the things I do, and every time I go to a town, my GM, he's like, what the hell are you doing, man? Because I'm always writing stuff down. Because the first thing I go to a town and I say, hey, look, I'm going shopping. What type of stuff does this town have? Does it have like the basic stuff from the player's handbook and everything? And 9 times out of 10, I'm always going to get of course, and they're going to sell at the race that the player's handbook sells at. And yeah, of course, okay. And so I'm gonna load up on flask of oil and stuff like that and everything. And I always have, you ever see the adventurer's kit that's got all those little things inside of it and everything that it looks good for fluff. I use that stuff. I will actually use that stuff and put it to use and come up with some crazy stuff. I've made freaking pretty much dynamite before using that stuff. And not unbelievably so, very believably so. Not exactly dynamite, not saltpeter and freaking ammonium nitrate, but I make stuff like that, and my character, I always think in terms, and I've always played skilled characters, so I always make characters that can do stuff like that, and but I frequently, whenever I go into a game and and I write out my characters and all this other stuff, and the GMs want to use me as this focal point for their game, and they usually want to make me overpowered. And this last time, the GM gave me this makeshift arquebus, and really a blunderbuss. And if you know what a blunderbuss is, you stuff gunpowder at the one end, you stuff other stuff here, and you fire it, and it goes boom. And essentially, the blunderbuss acted like a an area effect, kind of like a shotgun per se. With various things equating as buckshot. So doing stuff like stuffing a flask of oil at the end of it and firing it, it turns into a small fiery blast, stuff like that. But I didn't want that. He gave it to me, and I took it, and I know some people were resentful because I took this, but at the same time, it's like one of those times that someone gives you a gift and everything, but you don't want to take it, but then you kind of be a d-bag if you didn't. You know what I mean? That type of thing. Um, because then you're basically telling them that you don't like their gift that they gave you, and I didn't really like it because the extra weight alone, added on to my character and everything, made it ineffective to take with me. And not only that, I made my character well, and my character was very diverse in his capabilities and was capable of holding up his own without it. And one of the things was that I guess like someone had gotten irritated with it, and they said, "Oh, you've got this, and you can do this," and I showed them, and like I laid out dice. I'm like, okay, this is my ability if I do this, showing them that I literally can do the exact same amount of damage, if not more, doing things this way, which is completely legal within my character. So, I try never to take anything that would improve my character as far as being able to deal damage, because I'm always going to be able to make a character that's going to be, effective. Anybody that's, spent any years playing games, even when you're not trying to min-max characters, to a certain degree, you're still going to make your character effective. Everybody does it. It's a skill you develop over the years of making characters and constantly looking at players' handbooks and constantly looking at feats, abilities, and what works here. What do you know is more effective? What do you know you're constantly going to be using? What's going to do this? What's going to do that? It's just a natural thing. Well, going back to this game of Rifts, one of the problems that I found in the game was that he had made me into this guy that was entirely too powerful. And so I'm not having any fun. The other players are not having any fun. And so I ended up, we ended up calling a quits on the game and stuff, because it wasn't feeling right. Because of course it would have been cool if I had continued the facade that my character wasn't this. But let's face the fact. Whenever you're in a group or party, even if you have I have a spellcaster that's in a Illithid. Because you guys are in a party together, nobody seems to really give a fuck other than making racial slurs or something like that. As a general rule, they're gonna accept you for the way that you are because they realize it's a player character playing them. But in this case and everything, basically my character was outshining, I want to say, at least two of the characters, and that's no fun for me. I like to be very good at what I can do, but I don't like to outshine other characters. That's one of the reasons why I love playing rogues. Apparently, not a lot of people like playing rogues and bards and stuff like that, and so I could really get into being a rogue or playing a bard. But I won't ever, if I go into a group, I won't make a bard or something like that if there's already a bard present. I won't make a rogue if there's already a rogue present. I'm going to make something that isn't present, and that's going to fill a niche that really needs to be filled. I have no qualms with playing anything, and I have preferences, but I have no qualms with playing anything. So, if I come into a group and they don't have a cleric, I'm going to make a pretty sweet cleric. Which I love that Raven Queen. They're just dark purple, black, and basically she believes that natural order of death, and that's a cleric. Yeah, sign me up. So that's totally my next thing. Is going to be something like that. I already got it. The juice is flowing on a pretty baller cleric, but stuff like that. That's my thing. but we ended up having to end that game. But I wanted to touch on the fact that Rifts is, from even my limited time that I played Rifts, was a phenomenal game, and I loved it. I love the way that it felt. I love I love the classes, the diversity. I love the rich uh, the rich story to the game. There was so much going on, and pretty much in my mind, Rifts pretty much merges like everything together, and I don't really have qualms with that when if it's done smoothly. You know, if you can kind of do it in a realistic fashion, I'm all for it. You know, I'll buy into it. If there's something to bite on, I'll bite it. You know what I mean? Um, but Rifts was a beautiful game, and they did come out with a new version of it recently. Ultimate, I want to say Ultimate Rifts or something like that, or something to that effect or whatever. Which I'm totally looking forward to try and get my hands on that. But I want to find a group first, because before I drop like 50, $60 on another one of those books and everything, I want to make sure I have a group. You know, I made that mistake with a couple other systems, and so I ended up buying the books and then have nobody to play it. And it's one thing to teach a player or two, but to teach an entire gaming group how to play a game is a complete pain in the ass. Because essentially, you know, you own the books. They're going to have to go buy the books, and you have to sell it to them in such a way to get them to already go out and buy $50, $60 worth of books, if not more. I mean, in some cases, they might want to spend $100 worth of books. It's one of the reasons why I did 4.0 after the fact. 4.0, the books were just so dirt cheap and everything, and I just like cycling through systems because it gets stale. You know, 5.0 is fun. You know, Pathfinder is fun, but everything gets stale. So I find if you cycle through a system, it keeps everything nice and fresh, and you kind of like, okay, well, what do I want to make now? And I've got all these options and everything. And by having several game systems to go through, it doesn't have that. Doesn't have a stale feeling. It doesn't get boring as much, because there's all this excitement to what your character can do next. So I like to, even use like 4.0 for that purpose. I bought all those extra books for it and everything. Unfortunately, those extra power books are kind of crap. I hate to say it, they really are. They're crap. Well, some of them are. So bad so that I had a player actually was using something out of one of them, and I just told him to keep the book. I was like, if I really want it again, I'll go spend another $5 on eBay and get another one. But if you haven't tried Rifts, and you can find a group, get into it. It's good stuff. And all right, guys.